Today we're diving into the dark side of yard sales. You might think the worst thing you'll find is a broken toaster, but these stories will make you think twice before rummaging through your neighbor's cast-offs. The Doll from Hell. Our first tale takes us to Aurora, Illinois, back in 2009. Picture this, a young family, fresh from the big city, looking for a quiet suburban life. They thought they'd left danger behind in the rearview mirror. Boy, were they wrong. It all started innocently enough. Dad and his 4-year-old daughter were out for a stroll, headed to check out the local playground. Along the way, they spot a yard sale. No big deal, right? Just some folks getting rid of their junk. The little girl's eyes light up when she sees a doll that could be her twin. It's only $2, so Dad figures, why not? Little did he know, he was bringing home way more than a new toy. The very next day, there's a knock at the door. It's the yard sale lady, and she's not happy. She wants that doll back pronto. She offers $5, then $100. But this family's not selling. That's when things get ugly. Enter the yard sale lady's husband. He's not asking nicely. He's demanding that doll back, threatening to call the cops. The situation's heating up faster than a summer sidewalk. Just when you think it can't get worse, it does. One night, there's another knock. It's the husband again, but this time he's drunk. And he's got a gun. He forces his way inside, waving that pistol around like a lunatic. The family's scared out of their wits. By some miracle, they manage to get the doll without waking the kid. The guy leaves, but the nightmare's far from over. The cops nab the husband, but he gets off with a slap on the wrist. A suspended sentence? For armed robbery? Talk about a miscarriage of justice. Here's the kicker, that $2 doll? Turns out it's some super rare German antique. We're talking potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. No wonder that couple was so desperate to get it back. The collector. Now let's jet down to Western Australia for our next yarn. It's the late 90s, and 2 teenage history buffs hear about a yard sale packed with military stuff. They're on it like white on rice. The seller's this weird ex-soldier who says he's gotta downsize his collection. The boys are in hog heaven, digging through old uniforms, medals, maps, you name it. One of the kids spots some fancy leather photo albums. He decides to come back the next day to snag them. When he returns, the seller invites him inside to see his real collection, the good stuff he's not selling. Now, any sane person would be running for the hills. But our curious cat can't resist. What he sees next is gonna give him nightmares for years. First, the guy whips out some gruesome photos of massacre victims. But that's just the appetizer. The main course? A human head. In a jar. The seller claims it's some Indonesian communist who got whacked decades ago. Our teenage friend bolts faster than a jackrabbit on a hot griddle. He calls the cops, but by the time they show up, the house is emptier than a politician's promises. The seller's vanished into thin air, taking his ghoulish gallery with him. The Book of Horrors. Our last story's about a guy who's just moved into his first pad. He's broke as a joke and needs furniture bad. Then, like manna from heaven, he stumbles on a yard sale with everything he needs, dirt cheap. He snags some old books along with his haul. Later that night, he's flipping through one when an envelope falls out. Inside are some old photos that turn his stomach quicker than week-old milk. The first pic looks innocent enough, just a little girl. But as he keeps looking, things go south fast. There's creepy dudes in pointy hoods. The girl's crying. And the last photo? It's so bad he can't even describe it. Shaking like a leaf, he calls the cops. They tell him to hang tight till morning. So he spends the night jumping at every shadow, those awful images burned into his brain. When the police finally show up, they drop another bombshell. The house where he bought the books. It's emptier than a Vegas casino at sunrise. The owners have pulled a Houdini. Our poor guy's left with more questions than a game show contestant. Who were those people in the photos? How'd they end up in that book? And the million-dollar question, are the sick puppies responsible still out there? So there you have it, 3 tales to make you think twice before you hit up that next yard sale. Remember, one man's trash might be another man's terror. If these stories haven't scared you off the internet for good, hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling content.